तस्यै दिशे सततमञ्जिरेषा आर्ये प्रक्षिप्यते मुखरिते मधुरपैर्बुधैश्च जार्गति यत्र भगवान् गुरुचक्रवर्ती विश्वोदय प्रलय नाटक नित्यसाक्षी श्रीनाथादिगुरुत्रयं गणपतिं पीठत्रयं भैरवं सिद्धोदगं बटुकत्रयं पादयुगं ज्योतित्रयं शाम्भवम् वीरेष्टचतुष्कानिष्टकं वीरावलिपञ्चकं श्रीमन्मालिनी मन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरोर्मण्डलम् अभ्यासैः सकलैर्दीर्घमालिनैर्व्याधि प्रदैर्दुष्करैः प्राणायामशतैरैका करणैर्दुःखात्मकैर्दुर्जयैः यस्मिन्नाभ्युदुते विनश्यति बालिवायु स्वयं तत्क्षणात् प्राप्तुं तत्सहजं स्वभावमनिशं तेयात्वमेकं गुरुम् स्वदेशिकस्य शरीरचिन्तनं भवेदनन्यस्य शिवस्य चिन्तनं स्वदेशिकस्यैवाच नाम कीर्तनं भवेदनान्यस्य शिवस्य कीर्तनम् यत्पादरेणुकणिका क्वापि संसारवारिदे केतुबान्धयते नाथं देशिकं तमुपास्महे यस्मादनुग्रहलब्ध्वा महादज्ञानमुत्सृजेत् तस्मै त्रिदेशिकेन्द्राय नमश्चाभीष्टसिद्धये पादाब्जं सर्वसंसारदावानलविनाशकं ब्रह्मरन्ध्रे सीताम्भोजमध्यस्थं चन्द्रमण्डले अकटादित्रिरेखाब्जे सहस्रदलमण्डले हंसपार्श्वाद्विकोणे च स्मरेतन्माराध्यम् सकलभुवनसृष्टि कल्पिता शेषपुष्टि निखिला निगमदृष्टि सम्पदं व्यर्थदृष्टि अवगुणा परिमाष्टि तत्पदार्थकदृष्टि भवागुणपरमेष्टि मोक्षमार्गैका दृष्टि सकला भुवनरङ्गस्थापनस्तम्भ याष्टि सकरुणा रता वृष्टिस्तत्त्वमाला समाप्ति सकल समासृष्टि सच्चिदानन्ददृष्टि निर्वासतु मयि नित्यं श्रीगुरोरुद्रिया दृष्टि अग्निशुद्धा सम्मान्तता ज्वाला परिचकादिया मंत्रराजमिमं मन्ये आर्निशं पातु मृत्युता तदे जाति तन्नै जाति तद्दूरे तत्समीपके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वशाशलायता अजो अमजरोऽहं च अनादि निधन स्वयं.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday morning's meditation seminar. And today we're really very fortunate and lucky to be having our guest speaker, Father Francis Tiso. And He's an expert in the mystic traditions of Tibetan Buddhism. He also is an expert in the mystic Christian traditions, and he has assimilated these within his own self, and he's very much a universal person. And so he'll lead us in meditation this morning and give us practices and understanding of the light.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Some of you were here on Wednesday, right? Yeah. So that was a wonderful experience to share. And now we can go into some depth with the practices that we introduced that day. And I'll give you a little introduction or orientation. You can hear me okay? All right. So the other day we introduced elements of the short tun practice, the short session practice from the Namkhai Norgol Rinpoche's Dzogchen teachings, because that seemed to be a very effective introduction to then the exploration of the light that arises within contemplative practice in the body-mind complex. Today we're going to revisit the short tun practices, and then after some silence I'd like to introduce you to a very simple meditation based on the notion of the five, or in reality 6 senses that we have in the Buddhist Abhidharma tradition, very closely related to Vipassana, but done as a guided meditation. This particular meditation, which I originally created for working with patients in an experimental hospital that worked with cancer patients many years ago, continues to be a useful practice, very simple, very easy to do, to work with people in severe pain, severe difficulties, enabling them to relate to the inner structure of the sensory system, okay, in order to become both more knowledgeable about their bodies, but also more in tune with the energetic structure of their bodies, and giving them a certain amount of control over their pain and experiences of illness and the phases that precede dying. Okay, the phases of our existence that precede dying. And several people that I've guided in the last months of their life have benefited a great deal from this practice. So I think that might be useful to all of us, and it certainly will help us continue to orient ourselves toward the contemplative disciplines that you've begun to embrace, and you've embraced very, very well on the evidence of our Wednesday meeting, such that not only each one of, really, you're wonderful, you're great, to go further with that, and to find creative ways to adapt those discoveries to the needs of people who are around us, many of whom are suffering terribly. And so it's part of the practice of compassion, which is absolutely foundational to the entire contemplative path in all of our traditions. Okay, so let's begin. I brought a number of texts this morning because it's just nice to have them to accompany me. These are largely from Chagdud Rinpoche and Dudjom Rinpoche, the contemporary Terma-oriented Dzogchen lineages, and they've been great companions over the years. I also have here with me a little stone that I use when I teach meditation, because it's used for focusing the gaze in shamatha practice, so I like to keep that. And I have a raksha bead from a very dear friend of many, many decades now, the Milk Baba. Does anyone know the Milk Baba? He's a yogi who mainly lives near Pasupatinath Temple in Kathmandu, and he is in the more or less the Ramayana tradition of Hindu practice, and we get together as often as I can get to Kathmandu And I've taken a lot of teachings from him and introduced some of my students to him. And he particularly has a group of Italian disciples, so we have a kind of a kinship there, going back to 1986. So I like to have him with us this morning as well. He survived the earthquake. All right. Okay, so that wonderful 9 breathing practice is where we begin. We're conscious of our condition, conscious of the body-mind complex in our presence. And now we're going to work with a breath which unites, of course, mind and body. As we know, prana, that consciousness rides on prana, prana rides on respiration. Okay? And so, let's see if I don't want to bang this when I have to go forward, so I'll put it off to one side. And be sure to keep your elbows high and to stretch the rib cage as you're going up with your arms. Women beginning with the left, men with the right arm. Right? There are 6 breathing cycles of that kind, and then the 3 are the full bow. We want to be attentive in a gentle, attentive way to the entry of the winds at the point below the navel. Okay, as we do this, so that our breathing is deep and profound. Light and energy coming in, smoke, impurities going out. And we rest in the condition, in the state, where we're beginning to experience some of the winds coming into the central channel, our alertness, our body posture, just as it is. I'm going to get out the text so if we get distracted, I won't make a mistake. It's a good idea, sometimes to be very humble, and to admit the possibility of error. Right? You can. There's plenty of time for showing off with your friends. There we go. The short tune begins with the long ah, which is that primordial sound that in the Sanskrit alphabet accompanies every consonant. All right, so, and then move to the om and the purification of the five elements, right, using the seed syllables. So this time, let's just do it very majestically and slowly, all right, and just come in with me as you feel, all right, rather than repeating as we did the other day. He ho shud he shud he yam ho shud he shud Shude Shodanaye Swaha. So we move with that awareness, that dynamism in us now, the crossover between coarse and subtle in the elemental structure of our existence. And then we can do the Anu-yoga visualization of the letter A in its indigo sphere and rainbow covering of rainbow light around the sphere. Raising the gaze above the level of the eyebrows, forward, as we visualize that Ah, and it transforms into whatever we consider most sacred in our flow of existence, taking refuge in it for the sake of all sentient beings. Then we pass it down into the heart chakra on the second Ah, lift it up as an offering to all the enlightened beings. The third Ah, we receive their blessing. Our body becomes the body of light that is extended to the entire universe. And the final, the fourth Ah, uncontrived. Okay? Working with mouth and nostrils. Okay, an openness, a relaxation. Okay. And so being aware of the primordial natural state just as it is, just as we are in this condition, we abide in this silence and presence. And from that place within us, everything can arise, everything can emerge, everything can manifest. We catch up with it, it catches up with us in that space. From that space, allow the emergence of the sparkling scintillations of sunlight on a lake or stream. Something in our memory, something in our experience. Bring that up. Allow that to be present. When you see the sparkling light, lift up your right hand or your finger. Okay, when you see that. Okay, keeping your eyes closed, just seeing that. Enjoy it, observe it. Breathe with it. Okay, lower your hand. While you're watching the sparkling water, what do you hear in the environment around you? Listen to what you hear in that environment. When you can hear the sound, lift up your right hand. Okay. Good. Being attentive to the sight and the sound. Relax with it for a moment. You become aware of the fragrance of the trees around you. Perhaps it's pine or beech or oak, and you're aware of the fragrance. When you become aware of the fragrance, lift up your right hand or finger. Okay. Just rest with that. Now open your mouth just a little bit, and it's as if you can taste the air, the breeze, the flavors of that place. When you've captured the flavor on your tongue, raise your right hand. Right, savor that taste. Observe the connections now that are emerging between the organs of the senses and the inner senses. Sound, fragrance, taste. And now be aware of your body in that place, the touch of your body, the feel on your skin, muscles and bone of the place. When you felt that touch, raise your right hand. Very good. Feel the weight and the presence of that touch. And now bring your attention into the place where we observe sight, sound, fragrance, taste, and touch. The observer, the watcher within us. When you're in that little space, raise your right hand. In a friendly way, be with that space for a little while in silence. being aware of your breath, the sensation of breath on your nostrils, coming into your lungs. Direct the energy of your breath to that place. And gradually allow the watcher to expand from perhaps being a very small, almost pea-sized sphere, something quite a bit larger, until your whole body is inside a sphere of light and consciousness. When that feels real to you, raise your right hand. And now just allow that to dissolve. And simply be present with who and what you are. Now as some thoughts and images and memories arise spontaneously in your mind stream, be at peace with them, be relaxed with them, let them flow. When you feel ready, when it's your correct moment, direct a compassionate intention to the day we have ahead of us. It's yours. You know your world. You know what you have in front of you. Direct that compassionate intent, that empathic orientation to this day in an open-ended way when you're ready. And when you're comfortable with that, just raise your right hand again. All right, then. Rest in your silence, rest in your breath. You might bring your gaze, your eyes are closed, you can open your eyes, but lower your gaze, shamatha style. And inside each one of us, having seen what we've seen this morning, make the dedication of merit in a way that's meaningful to each one of you, according to your condition, according to your body-mind complex, according to the web of relationships, the ecosystem of your life. And then let go of it. So when you've let go and you're ready to face the day, raise your right hand. Okay. We all know how much courage it takes to take the next step. Very good, thank you. In the Catholic tradition, we have a prayer called the Morning Offering, which I acquired when I was 12 years old in this very city, 1962, in my first visit to D.C. And that prayer is basically saying that whatever happens today, joy and sorrow, pain and dismay, disappointment and delight, I'm already offering it before the day begins, through the heart of Christ, through the heart of Mary. I'm already lifting it up. I'm already celebrating my own little Mass, my own little Eucharist, before the day begins. And I've often told people, if you really understand what that means, it means that you're making an act of intention and incredible courage, because you're walking into the unknown, having owned the unknown in spiritual serenity and courage. It does take courage to take the next step. It does. The world is a scary place. But the more you know how to do that, the more you can hold others by the hand and guide them lovingly and compassionately. You can weep with those who weep. You can protect children and the weak and those who don't know what to do. And there are so many. And we know from our experience what that feels like. So this is very valuable. The intangible is the most precious, right? The intangible is the most precious. How can you measure compassion? How can you take the temperature of empathy? What's the price of insight? But without those things, nothing else holds together. How can we not feel blessed? The vast expanse, we use that term in Dzogchen, the vast expanse within which all the play of phenomena takes place. We are not only observers, we are in the action. And it scintillates with light and joy. Doubts are removed. We're on common ground. We remain in the state. Thank you very much. I suppose we can remain with this, right? Hmm? Good. So at the end of our practice, renew the offering of the merit for the good of all sentient beings, for the entire ecosystem, for the entire universe, giving away that which is most precious to that which is most precious, so that the inner space and the outer space become one. And thank you very much. Thank
I'd like to thank everybody for being here, and thank Francis for being here today. And a few announcements. And one is a sad announcement that Young Tong Rinpoche, great Dzogchen master, who died in the past week, and I think it was on Saturday, took Mahasamadhi. He was about 94 years old. He had lived a large part of his life in the Chinese prison, and he was really one of the great senior masters and taught many people. And his great practice he taught so often was what he called absolute compassion. We'll focus on him just for a moment in gratitude and actually focusing his practice, the practice of extending this awareness from timelessness, the place of timelessness, into his presence, into his past, into his future. With that, we can rub our hands together and place it on our heart and seal our experience. And this morning was very wonderful, and Wednesday was fantastic, and we're going to have one more long morning with Francis, and that'll be this Sunday from 10 to 1. You should come about 9:30. And the focus on this seminar, this experiential didactic seminar, will be on the Christian mystics, the early Christian mystics of the contemplative Gnostic traditions, and also integrating with them this intrinsic relationship to Dzogchen and to these practices. You're welcome to stay and meditate to 9 o'clock this morning, and we also have some refreshments upstairs. I'd like to thank again everybody for coming, and thank Francis for being with us this morning, and see you guys Sunday. Thanks. I think on our little Dakini practice tomorrow, which will start at 8 o'clock, for those of you who participate, we're going to have that empowerment of the gazing practices again by Rinchen Dorje. We have a video of that, and what's so wonderful about all these experiences that are non-local ultimately, even though it's coming, there's a little video actually from the space of awareness, timeless awareness. This empowerment will arise in us one more time. Thank you. Oh, great, thanks. Tuesday night. Yes, okay. Mr. Maho teaches Qigong here, and the great master of Qigong. One of his teachers who was in town, and we actually met with him, I think it was Sunday or Saturday. And this is a really very talented and gifted master of Qigong. And they're leaving for China on Wednesday morning, but they've agreed to come here Tuesday evening. I think it's going to be at 6:30 to about 8:30. It's near bedtime for many of us. And so if you would like to come, you have to sign up and register for this, because we don't have that much place for a lot of Qigong activity. So maybe you should put a sheet of paper up there, and we'll register and come by 6:30, okay, for Tuesday evening. I think his name is Master Zung, I think. It's Zoom? Like Zoom? Zoom. Okay, great, thanks. And it's really great, and it'll also be a lot of fun. So we have a great week, eh? So thank you guys, and see you Sunday, and perhaps Tuesday also. Bye. You should, if you haven't registered for Sunday's program, you should register. You have to be registered to get here.
सच्चिदानन्दाय गुरुवे विश्वसंसारारिणे भक्तकार्यैकदेयाय नमस्ते सदा श्री गणेशाय नमः श्री सरस्वती नमः श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः अदा श्री गुरु गीता प्रारंभ ओम अस्या श्री गुरु गीता स्तोत्र मंत्रस्य भगवान सदाशिव ऋषि